of course not a great move, but I thought, okay, I just go d3 and then I play. I don't know if it was played.
We sort of checked it. H4 was a novelty, and there was one game.
Ah, okay, I don't know. Yeah, no, but my idea is yes, that for instance, if he goes bishop g7, bishop d2, let's say c5, I play g3, something like that, and then I get this position which is with reverse colors. You have it in English opening. And my plan was that since I didn't castle yet, maybe to get some h4, h5. Okay, that was my imagination working in this direction, and that was it basically. I decided, okay, I just play d3 and then we see. But of course, it's not a great move actually. And I think Black reacted pretty well on d3. He decided to took on c3 immediately. I guess with the idea that after bishop d7, bishop d2, knight c3, that I can already take with a bishop, probably. So he took immediately and played bishop g7, which is actually, I think, pretty good reaction. So now I thought maybe I would play queen c2 already, just trying to use this kind of tempi, you know. I was even considering queen d2 in the Magnus style to play. Maybe actually it was maybe even more accurate than to get bishop b2, but okay, I don't know. I mean, somehow I remember this game and I decided, okay, no, I put my queen on c2. And of course this setup is not actually not great at all. This I realized during the game that what Black should do here simply is just that he shouldn't hurry castling. I think that if he just goes c5, g3, knight c6, or b6, let's say, bishop g2, bishop b7, my whole genius idea of this setup doesn't seem to work so much because h4 is not really leading anywhere, and otherwise and then once I castle, he castles also, and the position is just equal basically. So that is an easy way to equalize for Black, I think. But fortunately for me, he castled rather quickly because it looks natural. Then at least, yeah, that was my plan. That okay, I don't castle in this type of position. I try h4, h5, c5. Oh, this is logical. Bishop g2, knight c6, h4. Oh, basically that's the only way to justify my play. Otherwise, if I castle, then I don't gain anything. I mean, so that's why I played it without too much hesitation. And yeah, okay, at least Black has to solve certain practical tasks now, practical, because this h5 is pretty annoying really, because I'm not castling yet, and then sometimes I can really organize quite an unpleasant attack on h-file. So of course he can always play h5, and maybe this is what he should have done. But it's a kind of concession, of course. Then I can put my knight on g5. Still Black's position is perfectly playable, but this already I like for White. I think White can be slightly better here. Also h6 is a bit dubious sometimes, because I thought maybe I play rook b1, and for example now he cannot really play b6 because of h5. I mean, now I get this very important resource. After g5 I take on g5 and the knight is hanging, so this is quite unpleasant resource, h5 always. So I was also considering here bishop f5. In fact, I thought this was most critical move, because now he's threatening c4 and it's a really serious threat. But now I have two moves. First of all, I can play queen d2, maybe, just safe, you know, just to protect against c4, and after queen a5 I always have bishop b2, and I want the same, my play with h5, but maybe now he can try to get e5, maybe e4 next. I can play knight g5. It's complicated game. Or another option is to play knight d2, I thought, which is a solid move. I'm protected against c4, and well, I just want to play h5 and so on. And the idea is that if now knight b4, at least that is what I was calculating during the game, maybe now already I have quite good compensation just taking on b4, bishop takes a1, and b takes c5. And I could have done the same in the game, but this is a much better version, because now pawn is hanging, and after queen d7 I'm in time to push h5, and then knight b3, bishop b2, and I think I actually like my position. I think White has a nice initiative. Of course it's not completely clear, the position, but I would prefer White here. So that was my what I was thinking about, and he came up with knight b4, which I saw in advance that it's not a great. I mean, of course this was the first move I checked when I was thinking before playing h4, but I thought it's not a great option at all. knight b4, because the thing is that here this exchange sacrifice is not so promising maybe anymore, because I didn't like that he has his bishop d7. It's very important that he's in time to put his bishop on c6. Still, let's say after h5, I probably have enough play for exchange, but not more, because with bishop on c6, his position is pretty alright, I believe. That's why, but I saw that night before I just played queen d2, and I think that what he missed, that in fact he doesn't create a threat. I mean, after queen d2, knight d5, which is the idea, bishop b2, now I want c4. Of course, again, maybe objectively now it's better to play something like knight f6, but of course this, I mean, okay, his position is not too bad, but it's clear that the whole maneuver just doesn't make much sense. So he played the most principal move, queen a5, but yeah, but here actually, I think after h5, he realized that he's not actually threatening to take on c3. This is probably was quite an unpleasant discovery for my opponent, because the thing is that after knight c3, rook c1 just wins the piece, and after bishop takes c3, I take, and now knight c3, rook c1 again, he is losing a piece, so queen takes c3, and now I've got many options, but I actually like most taking on d2, taking on c3, sorry, knight c3, hg. Well, fg is just positionally terrible because knight g5 always comes, so hg, and now king d2, and the position is really very dangerous for black, because for instance, if he tries to go to a4, I thought I have rook h4 with tempi, very important move, because now bishop d7, knight e5 is coming, and after knight b6, rook h1, I'm afraid he will get simply mated, like in the middle game. You know, white has very strong attack here. So finally I thought that maybe black should go to d5, and here I have a big choice of very interesting possibilities. I thought that maybe knight g5 is the most interesting, because let's say if he goes now knight f6, I can play at least simply rook c1, rook takes c5 with a serious advantage. And if he plays e6, trying to get b6 after rook c1, then I saw that rook h4 looks pretty painful. Then another rook coming on h1, and I have a very strong initiative. I mean, black's position is very dangerous, at least, yeah, maybe simply bad already. I don't know, but
this was already confirmed by the engine. I think we fed it until king d2, and white was already plus there.
Yeah, no, plus for sure, but the question is how big is the plus? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's clear that white has a very nice game, but the question is if black can hold it or not. I mean, this I was not sure. But of course, yeah, he definitely didn't like it so much, obviously. And when he went knight b6, which is also a very, I mean, of course, a very critical move, because now I have to do something quickly. He's threatening knight a4, and yeah, of course I can do something like this. Let's say king f1, knight a4, rook c1, but I'm not better here at all. After knight b2, queen b2, I mean, without this bishop, I can already forget about mating possibilities, and I thought now maybe black plays rook b8 followed by b5, and I would maybe even prefer black here. Okay, it's probably close to equal position, but black is totally alright. So, of course, here I started to calculate variations, and I actually couldn't really finalize my calculation because position is quite complicated. So, of course, my intention was to play a4. This is obvious, and now. Well, I think that he made a decisive mistake. And of course, he should have, good or bad, he should have taken on a4, because otherwise, I mean, after what he played, I think black's position is simply bad. And so, of course,